This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. We are here in London and I'm joined by Gareth A Davies. Gareth, it's been a roller coaster over 24 hours. Over current state of play, the fight is off as what we're being told. Just kind of get your thoughts firstly on what you've made on everything that's gone on recently.
Yeah, I don't know about a roller coaster for the last 24 hours. It feels like a couple of weeks with Tyson Fury and Usyk-Joshua as well, getting really near but feeling scepticism. Look, the minute it was announced, that Conor Benn had tested positive for a banned substance, they should have called the fight off. We were kept hanging on a tightrope for 24 hours till the announcement that it's off after the High Court case this morning with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and the Boxing Board of Control. The Boxing Board of Control, in my view, were right to go prohibited straight away as soon as it became public. They probably should have done it before, but we'll find out about that as it rolls out. But, oh my God, it would have been a huge stain on boxing and on British boxing if this fight had gone ahead.
It's going to lead in my next question very nice. How damaging of an image would that have portrayed for the sport? Because everybody knows how dangerous it is, but when you look at Eubank Senior had big concerns about the weight for Junior heading into it, and when you can remember Senior and Watson and Ben McClellan and the tragedies that happened there, if something had happened on Saturday night, it would have left an even bigger stain on the sport. And
Chris Eubank and Nick Blackwell, there's a history with both families of being in vicious fights when men get hurt, and yes, that's history. Yes, it's by chance, but that's what's happened with these two families. They are warring, fighting families, warrior people. So it could not have gone ahead, in my view. It would have been a huge stain on British boxing, and if anything had happened to either of those men in the ring on the night, fingers would have pointed and said, look at boxing, it doesn't care about its boxers. What about the safety of fighters? That has to come first. That's why there's a testing process. Don't sign up to voluntary anti-doping association tests if you're not going to follow them through. Both fighters obviously signed up to it in the contract. If something occurs, something comes up, then you are responsible for what shows up in your blood or your urine. It's as simple as that. And that's where we are. The fight should have been called off straight away. They've taken it right to the limit to take it to the High Court. We wondered whether the Luxembourg board or the Maltese board were going to come into play, and they were going to do it as an unlicensed, what would have been an unlicensed fight in the UK. When we had David Hay and Derek Chisora in 2012, it was a similar scenario because the board wouldn't license them. But thank God everyone's seen sense, and notably Eddie Hearn, Calasal and the Boxing Board of Control, and thankfully between them it's not happening.
How much of a surprise was it to you, Gareth, after the announcement yesterday of what happened with Conor and his failed VADA test, that there was a push on Matchroom's behalf and on Eddie's behalf to still try to get the fight on?
They didn't want to lose it because they knew the fight was worth a lot of money. It was worth a lot of money to DAZN. It's a massive pay-per-view event. It felt like a Vegas fight week. I don't know if you were there at the red carpets on Monday. It was a brilliant... Why didn't you grab me?
Because I wasn't there, no, because on Monday I was in Loughborough and a shoot.
Yeah, I didn't see you, yeah. It felt like a Vegas Monday night launch week. It had celebrity about it. It had stardom about it. These two guys are rising stars. And the fight had crossed over to the mainstream. Huge numbers were trending for DAZN in their pay-per-view stakes. The two boxers were about to earn arguably career best paydays. I understand they were going to earn $3 million each with upside from the pay-per-view. It's a fight that historically both men had their appetite whet for because their fathers had fought twice. 17 million people watched the fathers fight. Imagine that today. So it's unthinkable almost. So everything was geared up. They didn't want to lose the fight. They knew it was a massive event. The event sold out in an hour, didn't it? The O2 Arena, 20,000 tickets sold. So they didn't want to lose the fight. And as a result, they pushed it to the nth degree. That's why they went to the High Court this morning.
Gareth, there's a lot of talk about testing now, looking towards Conor's B sample, what will happen with that. Conor failed his A sample. Away from that, then he come back and he was okay with a UCAD test. What's your understanding on the testing front, obviously going through VADA and then UCAD and everybody waiting on the B sample now?
Well, it's weird, isn't it, in boxing, how often the B sample doesn't get tested. Let's see what happens. I think they may well call in the B sample. Why didn't they call... That's one of the questions that needs to be asked. Why didn't they call in the B sample ahead of this and try and prove the fact that it was a false positive, as they call it now. They could have done that, but there's a big risk with the B sample that if that comes back positive as well, you're clearly in the wrong, or a drug sheet. So that hasn't been enacted yet, as far as we know. And my understanding is, if they now go through an investigation with the board and an inquiry, he will want to clear his name so that this fight can move ahead in the future.
Gareth, a big question that people want to know now is, if it wasn't for the article that the Daily Mail released yesterday, would people have found out about Conor's adverse finding? What's your understanding of that? Because the test was done a couple of weeks ago.
Test was done on September the 1st.
Test done on September 1st, but results came out around September 23rd, 24th.
Well, I knew about it yesterday as well. I did a little video for a website, and I would have written about the story yesterday. I had it on very good authority about half an hour before, but I only knew that someone out of the two had tested. And I'm not trying to say I broke the story, I would have broken the story, but I would have later in the day, because I've been asked to do a video on it. Riyadh Al-Samurai broke it from the Daily Mail. He's a fantastic journalist. But I think it was leaked to a few places yesterday, and it would have come out. Thank God it came out, because it needed to be leaked, because the board were under pressure. The promotion was going ahead. We've got the right decision. It should not go ahead because one of the boxers, I will repeat this till I'm blue in the face, tested positive for a banned PED, and therefore the fight cannot go ahead because of the safety of the boxers. It's a sport that you can be legally killed in the ring in. So you cannot allow, when a positive drugs test comes up, those two fighters to step into the ring against each other. It's morally wrong. And the morality has won here. Thank God. We love this sport. That's why we're around it. It's like no other sport on earth. It has drama, it has theatre like nothing else. But when someone's safety before a fight, if someone has enhanced their body before the contest, if that's found out, they must not be allowed to go into the ring. Then they need to explain themselves. Then they need to either be sanctioned, suspended, fined or banned, and serve their time and then come back. That's the way it has to work. Otherwise it's completely lawless. Boxing's like the Wild West anyway. Yeah? There's nothing like it. There's no Bible on boxing. It's written as it goes along. So when these things happen, the right decision has to be made. And thank God there is a huge responsible group of people who analyse, watch, cover, write about, broadcast, film about the sport, so all the information gets out there. For all those people saying, oh no, it's ruined, we want to see the fight, they weren't going to get hurt, we do not know. We do not know. And the we do not know is that vacuous area that we have to say, right, let's put a circle around that, let's pull back, they can live to fight another day, let's investigate it, let's get the truth, and then let's move on. And that's where we're at.
Well, Gareth, we'll leave that there now because I know a queue has formed. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you for speaking to me.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.